you an expert, entrepreneur, or small business owner passionate about helping people through life's transitions? The Fresh Starts Expert membership is perfect for you. For just $55 per month, this dynamic membership is designed to boost your business and amplify your brand. Fresh Starts is here to provide you with business development, marketing, coaching, networking, publicity, community engagement, and more. With an SEO-optimized profile, exclusive press opportunities, and weekly co-working and business coaching sessions, you'll connect, grow, and gain visibility like never before. Are you ready to elevate your brand? We can't wait to work with you. Visit freshstartsregistry.com and become a Fresh Starts expert today.
Divorce happens. In fact, it happens to almost 50% of first marriages. So let's talk about it. Welcome to Divorce Happens, a podcast to educate, inspire, support, and yes, make you laugh through divorce and beyond so that you can start fresh on the next phase of your journey. Remember, divorce happens, and then we start fresh.
You get divorced. You get divorced.
Getting divorced?
I'm getting a divorce.
You're getting a divorce.
Because she's getting a divorce.
So what if I get divorced?
Hi, I'm Susan Trotter, and I'm a relationship coach. I specialize in helping people who are in relationships and want to improve connection and communication. I also help people who are thinking about and going through divorce to navigate that process. And I help people who are single and dating learn how to set themselves up for success in dating and relationships and how to navigate the dating world, both online and in person.
Okay, Susan, we have a question for you today that we get from a lot of people, myself included, asking for a friend. The question goes like this. I recently got divorced, and I'm just curious, how can I even start dating again after divorce? So, Susan, you are our expert on this. What do you say?
Great. It's such an important question, and I get it all the time. So the goal here is to learn what you can do, as I said in my introduction, to set yourself up for success in this process. And so part of it really is about how you're thinking about all of this to start with. Many of us grew up with this idea that there's more, that part of our goal in life is to find our soulmate, our person, that one person out of all the billions of people on the planet that we're somehow supposed to be with. It's a lot of pressure to bring into the dating world. And so I start with encouraging people to let go of that idea. I believe that there's more than one person out there for each of us, and that our goal really is to find those people who are good quality people and a potentially good fit for us. And so take the pressure off. I think it's also important to be open to possibility, and then to understand, and this part is really important, that what you experience in the dating process after, and particularly after divorce, because it's more complex than when you're dating in the earlier part of your life, is that it really all starts with you. So there are three really important things to start thinking about. One is this idea that what we put out into the world is what we get back. There's lots of different frameworks for thinking about that, but essentially when we feel good and confident about ourselves and we're positive, we're much more likely to attract people who are also good, confident, positive people and are going to make us feel good as well. And of course, the opposite is true. Negativity attracts negativity. So it's really important to check in with yourself about where you are. Divorce is often such a challenging experience. And I think people think that once they kind of get to the end, which is the agreement, that everything is going to be over and done with. And it's not exactly. You just enter really a new phase of the process. And it does take time to really process things and get yourself to a better place, and sometimes to a better place that allows you to be more successful in dating too. The second thing that's important for people to understand, and especially after divorce, is that history tends to repeat itself when we don't work through things. It's true in life in general, throughout time, that history repeats itself. And it's also particularly true when it comes to relationships. It's why people repeat patterns. It's why the divorce rate goes up for second, third, fourth marriages. People keep connecting with people that are familiar. and they don't necessarily realize it. So it's really important after divorce to take time to review your relationship history, to understand what worked and what didn't, to understand what your needs and wants were back then, what your needs and wants are now, because they're likely going to be very different. And to also understand what your part was in past dynamics. We all play a part in every dynamic. It doesn't mean we're responsible for other people and their behavior. And we do contribute to the dynamic, and it's important to take time to understand that and really look at whether it served you well in your past relationships or not. And to the extent that it didn't, to get some professional support and guidance to help you work that through so you don't keep repeating those patterns. The third point that's important too is to remember that as much as we'd like to think that we can change or control other people or circumstances, unfortunately, we actually can't do that. However, what we do have control over is how we respond to things that are presented to us, and that's actually where our power is. So those are really important things to keep in mind when you're thinking about dating. I talked about positivity and confidence, and that's really tied into mindset. Mindset is really about how we think, and how we think affects how we feel, it affects what we do, and it affects outcomes. So indirectly, how we think about things can lead to the results that we get. That's really important in dating. How you're thinking about yourself, how you're thinking about relationships and dating and the online world, if you're doing that, all of it can impact your experience. So it becomes really important to, again, check in with yourself in regard to your mindset. And if you're not in a good place in terms of your thinking about all of this, then take a pause, because whatever your mindset is the lens through which you're going to engage in the process. And if you're not feeling good about it, then it will impact your experience. And of course, if you are and you're optimistic and open and positive, you will have a better experience. Um, I talk a lot with people about how they can, again, set themselves up for success. Mindset, as I said, is one really major piece. I also encourage people to pay attention to language, which ties into that. I think words are really powerful. And I'll share a quick example. I'm also divorced. I've been divorced a long time. And when I was finalizing my divorce, I was going to be moving back to an area that I hadn't lived in for over 20 years. And I remember and I was starting over both personally and professionally. And I remember thinking to myself that I have a choice. I can either say I have to start over, or I can say that I get to start over. And the difference in that one word, have to versus get to, completely changed what happened. It changed how I felt, what I did, and the results that I got. One word changed everything that followed. That's how powerful words can be. So I encourage people to give thought to that too, and to pay attention to who they surround themselves with. It's really important that people have a community of friends or other people around them that are positive, that have good energy, that are going to lift them up. It's good to vent sometimes. We all need to do that, but you don't want to get stuck there. And to the extent that you have people around you who are in a more negative place, just be mindful of the impact that that can have. And of course, taking care of yourself is really important as well. Um, a few other thoughts for people as they're thinking about dating after divorce. There are three really important factors that contribute to success in dating. One is confidence. It's actually probably the most attractive quality somebody can bring to the dating experience. So being confident. Communicating your value, which starts with knowing what your value is as a person, as a potential partner in this process, and being able to let other people know that. And you might let people know that directly. You might let them know that by the boundaries you set. But communicating your value to people is really important. And the third thing is about creating a life that others might want to be a part of. When I was dating after my divorce, I was really clear that I would rather be alone than be with the wrong person. I had a good, full life. I was good with myself, and I wanted somebody spectacular. If I was going to invite somebody into my life, then I wanted them to be spectacular. And when you create a good, full life for yourself, then it allows you to be more selective and more intentional, and to really choose people who can enhance your life rather than just be there to fill in voids. So that part is really important. And I think particularly for people post divorce, it takes time to figure out what you want this next part of your life to look like. And it doesn't mean you have to have it all figured out before you start dating. And it is good to be mindful of these different pieces that can impact your experience. Um, in general, be positive, be optimistic. Love is everywhere. When we're open to possibility, amazing things can happen. I encourage people to have fun with the process. I'm on a mission to inject more fun into it because that's not what most people associate with dating these days. Uh, I encourage people to be selective when it comes to quality and fit, and be flexible where you can. No one's going to have everything that you want, and really understand how, if you're doing online dating, how to make that process work for you. There is an approach to online dating that will lead to more success, and it's really important to understand that, to attend webinars or work with a dating coach who can help guide you in that process. And then just be out in the world creating that full joyful life for yourself, because you never know where you might meet someone. And I often say people sometimes show up in really unexpected ways. So keep open to possibility. But really, I think the main thing is to take time to really figure out who you are. There's a big identity shift that comes with divorce, and I find particularly with women, I work with both men and women, but I find particularly with women, it takes a while to reconnect with who you are as a woman after divorce. And I encourage people to give themselves that time to figure out some things, because it really will set them up for more success.
Susan, I love you. All of that is like amazing. So I have two questions that are kind of going in different roads from each other. The first question is that I see a lot of women, and I say this with love, but jump very quickly into relationships after divorce. I did the opposite. I knew I had a lot of healing work to do, and I did not want to repeat those patterns as I had my whole dating life and my marriage. I just was wondering, and this is not even a question, maybe it's just more of a please give us permission, Susan, to take time. Like, do you have a lot of clients that just take some time after their divorce? I feel like there's a stigma around that a little bit of like not jumping back into dating. I don't know. What do you think? Your thoughts on that?
Yep. Yeah. So, everybody's situation is different, right? Some people's experiences in divorce are more amicable, some are high conflict and really toxic and challenging and so forth. So there's no hard and fast rule per se, uh, other than doing what makes the most sense for you. I do think sometimes there is pressure to get back into the dating world. And I think, we're a very coupled up world. And I think people sometimes are, in your world, may be uncomfortable with your singleness, and don't know quite what to do with it if they were used to connecting with you as a couple. So sometimes I think the pressure people that comes from other people has to do with their own discomfort, um, and so forth. But at the end of the day, I think people need to figure out what makes the most sense for them. I do, as a coach, encourage people to take some time and not rush right away, because it is so easy to repeat patterns and to, be less selective, because you're feeling scared and lonely and uncertain as you enter this new part of your life. So I do think it's good to take some time. The question of how much time really depends on the person and how much healing they need to do. Um, what I would say is, rushing too quickly to date isn't ideal, but taking too long isn't ideal either. And I've seen people come to me at both ends of that spectrum. You can get stuck in being single, saying you want a relationship, but fear can keep you from putting yourself out there too. And if you want a relationship, then you need to figure out the fear part, so you don't get in your own way.
Yeah, for sure. I love that answer. I can see why people come work with you. You're very empowering, and I think it's so scary, right, to put yourself out there again. So that being said, where the heck do you go meet people? Where do you meet people, Susan?
Yeah, so it's a great question. And it is scary, right? I mean, it requires opening ourselves up a little bit and being vulnerable. What I will say at the beginning of the process is, as scary and as personal as it all feels, it's actually at the really beginning stages of connecting with somebody. It's not that personal. They don't really know you. So if they don't respond to a message or they don't follow up, people's behavior often says more about them than it does about us.
I like that.
So it's
That's
helpful
a
to
great,
keep.
yeah, great kernel for everybody dating. That's just like great dating
Yeah.
advice. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And if and I kind of joke, but I'm serious about it. If they don't see recognize how fabulous you are, then they're not the right fit for you, right? So, but the question of where do you find people? So there's lots of different ways. Obviously, online dating, millions of people are doing it. A third or more of people are doing online dating, and that's where they're meeting their partners. So online dating is I always say it's a great avenue for meeting people that you wouldn't otherwise meet in your everyday life. You have to know how to navigate it because it can be a crazy little world. And it is a great way to connect with people. And I encourage people to consider that. In terms of online dating, when people are new to online dating or have had bad experiences with it in the past, encourage people to use sites like Match or other similar ones that are structured for people to share a fair amount of information, because that information is important. Everything people present to us is information, and part of your task in this process is to gather that information and assess what it's telling you about them in terms of quality and fit, and other things that may be important for you. And so I find it's much more helpful for people as opposed to some of the apps, which only allow for a fair amount of information. So obviously, I'm a big fan of online dating, and I encourage people to get out in the world, do the things that you enjoy, whether it's hobbies or, going to listen to live music. There are meetup groups that aren't necessarily single focus. They just gather people with common interests. There are all kinds of Facebook groups that are designed to bring people together socially. Get out and do the things you enjoy. In the process, you might meet somebody you're interested in, or you might make a new friend and maybe they know someone who's just perfect for you. And at the very least, you're doing things that are going to fulfill you and that are going to make you feel good and confident and help you create that joyful life that sets you up for more success. So getting out in the world. And I also encourage people, when you are out and about just in your everyday life, where we've all been conditioned to be on our phones and to not make eye contact and so forth. But I encourage people to say hello to other people in the grocery store, or at the UPS store, or wherever you might be, or if you're out walking on a trail or something. I met somebody early after my divorce at the baggage claim of an airport at
Oh my gosh, like a movie.
like 7 a.m. I mean, I was definitely not looking like my best self. I was exhausted. The bags took like a half hour to come up from the plane. And this guy and I just started chatting to bide our time. And he gave me his card when we were finally leaving and said, if you'd like to get together, reach out to me. And I did. Why not? He didn't end up being the right person for me long term, but he was a lovely guy. And if I hadn't been open to having a conversation, it never would have happened. So you never know where you might meet people, and you don't have to be, looking your best self on a Saturday night. You just need to be open. And the last thing I would say for meeting people, if you're open to being fixed up, then let the people in your world know that. And you need to remind them of it from time to time, because everybody's busy and you may not always be top of mind. And so just like if you're looking for a job and you let people know and see if they know any openings, if you're open to being fixed up, you need to let the people in your world know. And again, just remind them every once in a while.
I love that one. I actually just had that happen. A friend yesterday reached out to me. She was like, "Hey, were you serious about some guy that you know about hooking us up?" And I was like, "I was." So, it does. I love that one. I think we forget about the old fashioned,
Right. People
matchmaking.
don't really fix each other up anymore.
Yeah, no, I love it. I
Yeah,
love
it
it.
doesn't really happen that much, but it can, and why not? There are actually some Facebook groups that are designed actually for people to post about friends or family members that they know that
That's
are single,
awesome.
that they kind of vouch for them as being good
Yep.
people. So there's some, kind of more casual matchmaking
Yeah.
happening. There are matchmaking services, by the
Yep.
way, too. What I encourage people to do with matchmaking services, again, you can meet people anywhere,
Yep.
and through any forum. But with matchmaking services, just because they tend to be very, very expensive, I just encourage people to do their due diligence. check the reviews with Better Business Bureau, get references, make sure that they have a good pool of people for whatever age group
Right.
and population you're looking for, et cetera, because they are expensive and you want to make sure you get what they promise.
And then Susan, working with somebody like you, who is a relationship and dating coach, just really quickly, what does that look like? Like, how do you help people?
Yeah, I mean, in terms of dating, I help people in a number of different ways. On a concrete level, I help people develop and launch a profile. So I help them create a profile, select photos, get it set up. Some of the different sites and apps have nuances to setting it up and maximizing your visibility and so forth, which most people won't know about. So I help people on a concrete level in that regard, and also with messaging. If you're online, as I said, it's really important to understand how to use the messaging. It's not just like texting and so forth. It's actually a really important part of the process. So I help people with messages and assess profiles and so forth. And then more big picture, the coaching also involves helping you understand your history and what your patterns are and what issues might be getting in the way, if they are. Looking at who you're connecting with, are these really the people that are the best potential fit for you? Why are you ignoring this person who looks great for you, et cetera? So the coaching is really both very practical and concrete, but also really bigger picture and helping you, again, just set yourself up to find whatever it is that you're looking for.
Amazing, amazing. One last question before we let you go. If somebody's listening to this and they're ready to jump back into dating and they need a little bit of words of Susan wisdom, what would you say to them?
It's such a great question. I would say take a deep breath, create some mantra around some positive thoughts about dating, and then just go for it. If what you want is a relationship and you've taken some time to figure a little bit out for yourself, then just go for it and have fun, keeping in mind some of the things that we've talked about today. And if you're struggling at all with any of it, reach out to someone like me who can help guide you and kind of right the ship, so to speak, but really have fun and be open to possibility and to keep in mind that amazing things can happen.
I love it. I love it. Thank you so much, Susan.
You're welcome. Thanks so much for having me, Olivia.
Divorce Happens is produced by Fresh Starts Registry, the only divorce registry platform for everything you need to begin again, including home items, hype team, and everything in between. Remember, divorce happens, and then we start fresh. We're here to support you before, during, and after divorce. Head to freshstartsregistry.com for more info.
Are you an expert, entrepreneur, or small business owner passionate about helping people through life's transitions? The Fresh Starts Expert membership is perfect for you. For just $55 per month, this dynamic membership is designed to boost your business and amplify your brand.
I'm Nikki Innocent, and I'm a Fresh Starts expert. The Fresh Starts expert membership is different from other products or services in this realm because it covers everything. It covers your ability to be supported by a community if you are a small business owner or a solopreneur, by having daily ways to connect with other people in the entrepreneurial space, even if they're in a different industry. There's coaching, which is next level coaching on a lot of ways. They offer the ability for you to be held as the individual you are, the business owner you are, and the vulnerable person you are, just operating each and every day. So that is wonderful. The products themselves, the press alone is something that I recommend for people to join the membership around. If you are looking to build out your public profile, if you're looking to understand what people care about in the industry that you're working in, the press element of this membership will give you that. You also have the amazing support of Olivia and Jenny, who will be able to direct you and highlight the parts of what you are doing that the world needs to hear more about. And oftentimes, if you are in a small business setting or you're building something, it can be really challenging to notice those things about yourself from an external view. So they do a great job of that. And there are so many other elements to this. There's a level of amplification that they do within their network to let people know who you are and what you do. There's a matchmaking energy to ensuring that you understand the other experts that are in the space that might be able to be complementary collaborators or support for you as you are on your journey, and so much more. I think there is a part of this in particular that is different than many other membership spaces because there is a very, very obvious and deeply felt sense of connection and collaboration. The competition element does not show up in this membership space. The sharing information and even talking about how competition might pop up is part of it. And it creates a new normal where we can actually rise with one another instead of looking at each other as competition to kind of leapfrog over. I think that this particular membership offers not only the individual so much, but businesses so much, and hopefully the larger landscape of how we can operate as humans that bring different things to the table. Would I recommend this membership to others? Heck yeah, I would. And I do. I recommend this membership to people all the time. And when I say this all the time, I mean everybody I meet.
Fresh Starts is here to provide you with business development, marketing, coaching, networking, publicity, community engagement, and more. With an SEO-optimized profile, exclusive press opportunities, and weekly co-working and business coaching sessions, you'll connect, grow, and gain visibility like never before.
Hi, I'm Lorraine Connell, and I'm a Fresh Starts expert. Fresh Starts membership is different from other similar products and services because it allows me to have a platform where my content is shared. It's a place where I can collaborate with others. And there's so many different membership opportunities. There's coaching, there's co-working. Being a member of Fresh Starts Registry has impacted my personal growth by giving me opportunities to think about the work that I'm doing. And it's helped me in my professional growth by the coaching that Olivia and Jenny provide. Would I recommend membership to others? Hands down. In fact, I've recommended it to 5 people in the first month that I've been a part of it.
Are you ready to elevate your brand? We can't wait to work with you. Visit freshstartsregistry.com and become a Fresh Starts expert today.